We have breaking news. The Texans have signed another player to a longer-term contract. This is making him the highest paid nickel corner in the NFL. We just talked about this guy staying in Houston. He wants to be here for the long term. And when I saw the contract, I was pretty happy about it until I saw the fully guaranteed money. So a lot to get to today on Texans Digest. A lot for the future for this team. But if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. 91% of people watching right now are not subscribed, and we're just over 100 subscribers away from a huge milestone on the channel. 1,000 subs, trying to get there. Really appreciate all the love and support everyone's given on the Texans Digest videos. All the comments have been insane, and we're pumping out videos every day. It's hard to make some content before the draft, but it's always nice when you have a general manager like Nick Caserio signing Jalen Pitre to a 3-year, $39 million contract. Like I said in the intro, he is the highest paid slot corner, and when you have a nickel cornerback in Jalen Pitre, when you're giving him $13 million a season, I really do like it. It sounds crazy because it's a slot corner, but he has gotten better every single season he's been in the NFL, and you love to see that. $29 million guaranteed is a little bit on the high, but at the same time, he deserves it. The only question I do have is, does he play up to standard this season, and then you get a steal as a slot corner instead of having to pay him more money next season? That was probably Nick Caserio's go-to thought process. However, there is a chance that this injury could negatively affect him. He could take a little while to get going into the season, but you saw how much this team missed Pitre last year when he did get hurt. You were missing somebody on defense. It just felt like something was missing. Kalen Bullock stepped up. Kamari Lassiter did well. Derek Stingley, an all-pro last year. So you're re-signing your secondary, getting young guys like Pitre, who's 25 years old. This is a huge thing, right? Derek Stingley, there for the future. Jalen Pitre, there for the future. And you're looking at this defense now. Will Anderson, Sheldon Rankins, Tim Settle, Daniil Hunter, Azeez Al-Shaair, Christian Harris, Derek Stingley. There is so many pieces to this team. It's amazing defense. Now, the only two things you really need to address in the draft is defensive tackle. And I really don't think there's another position, right? The whole draft is going to be offense, but you have to look at the defense and say, okay, what are we looking at? There really isn't much to do other than the defensive line depth. Now, this was before the Pitre signing. The Texans had $8 million in cap space, so the Pitre signing probably going to push that back a little bit. Next year, the Texans are set to have around $40 million in cap space. You still need to extend C.J. Stroud. You still need to extend Will Anderson. Yes, you can both put the fifth-year options on, but more often than not, both of those guys are going to want to get paid big bucks, and I'm sure Caserio is going to get them fully guaranteed contracts. The good thing about Caserio as a GM, he will pay the players what they are worth, the guaranteed money, but then he will flip that into a signing bonus, and that's where you could see the cap number. Hopefully, if you guys can see it, the number is going to go up. Next year, you have multiple players, 30, 27 million. The cap number is pretty big, but you're looking at Nico Collins right now, who's on there's that $8 million cap hit, which is pretty good because he was close to 20 coming into the season. Nick Caserio talked to him. They restructured the contract. So that's the biggest thing about Caserio is that it may look like he's paying all these guys, but next year he will restructure the contracts and it will look like a brand new season. That's what you do as a GM. You make cap space, you make plays happen, and that's what the team is going to do. The Texans will be contenders for years to come. The only thing is, now is your time to do so. You can't pay all these guys and keep paying them, and you can't retain them forever, right? Somebody is going to be left out. I don't know who it is, but whether it's a Christian Harrison, a role player who you want to get rid of because of play on the field, injuries, whatever the case may be, somebody's going to be left out, and I don't know if everyone will agree. So the comments in the last video kind of just going at it as to why it would be a terrible idea to trade up. I 100% agree. I just tried to state the obvious as to what would be good about it, what would be bad about it. Besides the point, looking at the Texans now, there's a lot that they need to do. And I bring up the trade yesterday because there's so many different things that people can agree to disagree on. But the one thing I think we can all agree is that Nick Caserio is a good GM. I mean, he makes things happen time after time again. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I know anything of his plans for the draft. I'm not an insider. I can just give you the thought process of what I think in terms of the Texans. Now, the draft is probably the biggest key to success for the Texans. And I'm going to go back to the Pitre contract because this could come around to bite them considering the 3-year $39 million. Say another injury happens. I'm not going to say it can, but there's definitely that possibility where you give him a fully guaranteed contract and then he doesn't pan out to be what you expected him to be. But he's 25 years old. He's only improved every single season. So the reason to sign him was better than to wait, and he plays amazing this season, and then you have to pay him more money next season. But a 3-year $39 million, we kind of talked about it a few days ago where it was expected that he was probably going to get around 13, 14 million, and that's what I said, around 15 million as a slot corner, nickel back, safety, whatever you want to call it. So Pitre, here to stay for the Texans, 3 years, $39 million. It's a weird case in figuring out how much is he worth as a slot corner, but you can't replace the value of Pitre. I love that. And draft well, pay your guys. You have to make your players happy at the end of the day. That's why Tunsil was on the team for so long, is because he was so dominant as the left tackle position, being the blind side for the team forever. And now you replace him with Cam Robinson. Definitely not the best replacement, but the point was it was time to move on for the money that he was getting. And this is just what happens, right? When you pay your guys, sometimes everyone's not going to stay. Now, Petry's going to, but it's just what you have to figure out is the next plans for the future. Because you look at the 2026 roster, the 2027 roster, half the team is not there. Now, you have re-signed multiple players, and Hunter and Stingley, and Schultz's contract is getting up there, which I am not happy about. I don't know how much longer Dalton Schultz stays on the team, which is just really irritating for me, because it's like, I've seen some of the comments where like, yeah, Schultz is not the tight end that he once was. He hasn't been playing well. I don't mind Schultz, but for getting $14 million a season, he needs to be a little bit more utilized. And if you're going to use a 2 tight end set this season, if you're Nick Caley, you're going to use Schultz and Stover. Schultz is not going to be worth $14 million a season. But he is a good all-around tight end. He can catch, he can run routes, he can block. So I don't mind that. Stover's an absolute monster as well. You could put him at fullback. I don't mind that either. But overall, looking at this team, Pitre signing, very well done. Very good idea. I wasn't expecting it to be so soon when Pitre came out and said, hey, I want to stay in Houston. But I guess him and Caserio had a conversation beforehand, and he's said, yeah, I'm going to stay in Houston. So good news for the Texans. Overall, this is just kind of breaking news just to have to address it. And then what is the future of the Texans? Can they win a Super Bowl? Hasn't happened yet. We're going to hope for the best. But the next part is the draft. And if Caserio can crush the draft in terms of who they decide to pick out and what they want to get, whether that's a wide receiver at 25, trading up, trading back, getting more draft picks, getting an offensive guard, an offensive tackle, a defensive tackle, a tight end, a running back, a wide receiver, most importantly. There's still a lot that this team needs to kind of round out as a whole, especially on offense, because of around the 22nd rank last year, which is not good for what Stroud did his rookie year. People say sophomore slump, shouldn't have fired Bobby Slowick. I don't know why, but looking at this team, it's definitely room for improvement, right? Last year, definitely not the best in terms of the expectations on the team. You had Diggs, you had Mixon, you had a lot of things going good for the team. The team on paper did not perform how the team you would expect it to be. But the defense did step up and absolutely ball out. So I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but let's just end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate all the support on the videos. If you're new, hit that sub button. Really close to 1,000 subscribers. Would really appreciate it if you would join the Texans Digest community. Thank you guys for all the comments. Leave them down below. Comment. Let's think about this. Comment down below man, this is tough. Comment down below. All right, we'll keep it Jalen Pitre specific. Comment down below if the Jalen Pitre contract is worth it. Did you want to trade him? We did a video a while back where there's a lot of controversy into will Pitre be traded or extended. He got extended. Some people argued they'd rather get a second-round pick for him. So there's some controversy. You can go back and forth, play around in the comments. But thank you guys so much for watching. It's been Mike Zanetti, Texans Digest, and we'll see you in the next video.